You cannot be serious! Please play.
Another video. Hope everybody's doing well. My last video, the sort of quality of my video was not that good, so I'm trying another camera and just to see how it turns out. I sport my Redskin hat today. Go Skins, RG3. It's gonna be a good year. Anyhow, but we're talking about tennis today, and I want to talk a little bit about women's tennis. Not so much about the state of it, because I think this maybe isn't the great time for women's tennis compared to years past, where we had the great rivals with Chris Evert, Martina Navratilova, Billie Jean King, Margaret Court, Steffi Graf, Monica Seles, Jennifer Capriati. I mean, there was a period there in women's tennis where it was, to me, more exciting and more intriguing than men's tennis. But I want to talk about two players today, and that's Venus and Serena Williams. Great players. Serena can probably be ranked up there as probably one of the greatest. It just seems like with Serena, she can take off for months and come back and still be on top of the game. And the real debate is whether it's the quality of women's tennis now in terms of competition that she has, or is she just that far better than a lot of the other women players. But I don't really want to talk about that today. I want to talk about how I am disappointed at the Williams sisters. All right? They are great. They have done so much for women's tennis. They've made many African Americans interested in tennis, particularly young girls. But I'm talking about their place in tennis history. Where do they place in the ranks of women in terms of the sport? Who are the great women tennis players of all time? All right, now, I was raised primarily in the Open era, so the Helen Wills Moody's and some of the older players I'm not that familiar with. But I came up around the Billie Jean Kings, the Chris Everetts, the Yvonne Gouligans. That's when I started sort of following tennis. And we know some of the great names in the Open era. The Martina Navratilovas, the Chris Everetts, the Monica Seleses, the Steffi Grafs. I know I'm probably forgetting some. Tracy Austin. All right, the list goes on, I think, in terms of the women players. The reason I'm disappointed in the Williams sisters is because I believe, without a doubt, that of all time. I remember when they came on the scene, when Venus came on the scene and Richard Williams, the dad, was saying all these things. Oh, she's going to be good. They didn't go through the normal channels that many of the younger tennis players did. The tennis camps, the tennis tournaments, they primarily were raised in Compton and practiced in Compton. And he proved a lot of people wrong, because when Venus came on the scene, she had a power with her game that really had not been seen in women's tennis. I mean, on all facets of her game, her serve, her forehand, her backhand, she even came into the net. And then Richard Williams backed it up with Serena. And he predicted that Serena was going to be better than Venus. I didn't believe it at the time, but look, here we are some 10, 15 years later, and Serena has just sort of, taken over the sport. I thought Richard Williams was crazy. I thought he was just bragging. I thought he was just trying to get attention. And people can say whatever they want about the man, but he proved a lot of people wrong, including myself. Where my disappointment lies in the Williams sisters is that I have felt that their commitment to the sport has not been as strong as it could be. And if it was stronger, they could have literally ruled women's tennis for years. Not just in singles, but in doubles. Without a doubt, when it came to the discussion of who is the best tennis players, women tennis players of all time, I firmly believe that Venus and Serena could have been those two women. I know that the dad truly encouraged them to participate in other activities and not just be so focused on tennis. I remember him saying one time how a lot of the women's tennis players, that's all they know. Tennis players in general, that was all they knew. They just knew tennis. And I don't necessarily see anything wrong with that. You know, I think that's part of the reason why so many foreign players do exceptionally well in tennis. I think that they may be a little more focused than the American players and not have as many distractions. But Venus and Serena, the parents, Orsine, as well as Richard, I think were really trying to sort of keep them well-rounded. And, you know, we've seen them take up fashion and all these other interests that, to me, took away a bit from their involvement in the sport. Although they have won many Wimbledons and U.S. Opens and French Opens, they could have literally ruled this sport. And I think Serena, maybe even Venus, could have really broken the records. I think of Margaret Court. I'm not quite sure who has the most. I need to look that up for you guys. Who has the most Grand Slams for the women? I think it's Steffi. Not sure. I think it's Margaret Court that has the most Grand Slams, and I think Steffi is second. I really could have seen one of them, maybe Serena, taking that, you know. And so when I say I'm disappointed in them, they have accomplishments that will definitely put them in the Women's Hall of Fame. And you can always say shoulda, coulda, woulda, but I really don't think there's nothing wrong with dedicating yourself to a sport, being committed to a sport, and making yourself the greatest at all time. Once people label you as the greatest player of all time, you will be known for history. And I think they sort of missed out on that. But nevertheless, both of them are still playing. Serena can win some Grand Slams still. But I just think they could have done more. I love you ladies, though. I think that you, as I said earlier, you all have done so much for the sport. You're beautiful women. And I want you all just to keep up the good work, play some more doubles, win some more Grand Slams. And who knows, you may prove me wrong. You could come back and break the records of Margaret Court and Steffi Graf in terms of Grand Slam victories. So I'm going to leave it at that for today. Thanks, tennis fanatics. Leave your comments. Tell me what you think. Do you think Venus or Serena, maybe you feel they are the greatest women players of all time? Or do you think they sort of missed the boat, as I sort of feel in that regard? Till next time, take it easy. Peace.